People who voted for DJT voted for whiteness. Yes, it is that simple. White people have been voting for whiteness and calling it voting for the economy since this country began. Actually, since before this country began. The Civil War was said to be over states' rights and the economy. But we know the Civil War was over slavery, right? And we're not going to pretend the Civil War was not about slavery, and we're not going to pretend this election was not about whiteness. Okay? Mississippi is a consistently red state. Consistently red. Poorest state in the union. Voting for people who are cutting the programs. A third of the damn state on these programs. Voting for people to cut those programs. Okay, so voting against your interest is the law of the land. Poor people voting for people that have way more money than them and don't care at all about them is pretty much the rule in this country, not the exception. And until we stop acting brand new about America and how America works, we are not going to be able to get a damn thing done. And a lot of y'all who voted for Harris voted for a post-racial fantasy land where whiteness did not have to be critically examined. Because the concept of whiteness does not hold up to any real form of critical examination. Because whiteness is a skin tone based hierarchy, and whiteness itself is the power status that says that you belong at the top of that hierarchy. You're in the club. Now, people who are white but not part of the oppressor class tend to think of whiteness like a residence association. Like it's gonna benefit you just because you live in the area. But in all actuality, whiteness is more like a high key, very exclusive dating app. Just because you meet the minimum qualifications does not mean they're gonna let you in. And if you wanna get the full value of it, you have to be invited, just like those very expensive dating apps. And beyond that, just because you're in whiteness doesn't mean that you're going to get any matches. No one is taking you to the ball if you don't have enough money to play the game. Now, for black people, no amount of money is going to get us on this app or get us any matches. But for poor white people, they think that they're going to strike it rich and suddenly become the Beverly Hillbillies. And that is why someone like DJT appeals so much to poor white people, because he is quite obviously PWT, married with children, Al Bundy material, who just happened to screw a bunch of people over and get a bunch of money. Also, he's an idiot, which demonstrates the resiliency and lasting power of whiteness, because something that you had to be one of the smartest black people in the world to be able to do, any old white guy is allowed to do. I shouldn't say smartest, I should say well educated, because high educational attainment does not mean you're smart. It just means that you spent a lot of time and money in school. You see, the election of Barack Obama upset the hierarchy of whiteness, forcing whiteness to prove that it once again was a valuable status. Because our entire country is built on the idea that whiteness is more valuable than gold. That is what we have depended on to keep poor whites in their place and to keep them from demanding real equality, because we told them you have whiteness and whiteness is better than equality. But Barack Obama being elected by such a huge margin showed that, oh, well, I mean, is whiteness as valuable as it used to be? Because now a black man can do this. So DJT's election served as a way to reinstate the hierarchy and prove once again, look, just because this black guy had to be smart to do this job doesn't mean you do. And that's your value as a white man. And we can just walk you to the door. We can just make you the Attorney General of the United States, even if you have a credible sexual assault case against you. We can make you president, even if you have 33 felonies or 34 felonies or however many felonies. So his campaign is basically proving the lasting power and effectiveness of whiteness. And that's what people voted for. So that's the what. Now let's talk about the why that I find much more interesting. Under the social hierarchy of whiteness, white women are considered to be treasured property. Now, this is not my idea. This came from Professor Kelly Brown Douglas, and you can look that up in her book, Stand Your Ground. I think the subtitle is like Race and Politics in the Age of Trayvon Martin. Whereas if you have female genitalia and you are non white, you are not treasured property, you're just property. It's sort of like the difference between being a statue in someone's house versus a statue in a public park. Y'all are both statues, but one gets shit on all the time.